Okay, so I normally tell people that it's very easy to tell why you were refused, but they don't believe me. They don't understand it when I tell them that it's very easy to be able to know why you were refused. For instance, there was a lady who had a huge scholarship with a deficit of around $8,000. It's a real story. It happened in the month of July. I wouldn't edit this video. I would have posted screenshots. So she was refused on the 4th of July 2024 with a deficit of $8,000 in Accra. She's from Cameroon, right? Went for the second interview in Cameroon and then got refused again in the same month, and then went for the third interview in Cameroon again with the same deficit, everything, and then she was approved on the third time. Now, according to her, this is her reason. I'm not saying it applies to everyone. So her reason is, I don't think she was thinking that the Accra embassy wasn't really satisfied with why she was having her interview in Accra instead of Cameroon. Because when they asked her why she's having the interview in Accra, she mentioned that she came for a conference and then she decided to have the interview there, but I don't think they were satisfied, so they refused her. She went back to Cameroon and realized that she didn't do some corrections on the DS-160 form, and then she was refused again. And on the third time, she did the changes and everything, and she was approved. Now, when you are refused a visa, it's very painful, confusing. When they refused my visa, I remember walking back home, like I didn't know where I was going to pick my next car because I was so lost, so confused. My eyes were just flat. It's a terrible experience. If you've been refused before, you know how it feels. So the first thing is, I want you to go and sleep. Don't try and sleep and process the whole thing, okay? When you get home, just sleep, process the whole thing, and then calm down. The reason why we get so stressed, so depressed when it comes to these refusals is that we start to think too much about the future. When you think too much about the future, you get depressed. When you think into the future, you get depressed. When you are anxious about it means you are being worried about the future. So if I was in your shoes and if I am getting a visa refusal today, or if I get a visa refusal today, the first thing I'll do is to go and relax and then let my brain process this whole thing, because it's something painful that has happened to me, and you can't process something under seconds. You've not built that mental toughness yet. Okay, so first relax and process the whole thing so that you'll be able to think clearly. The second thing is access your application. Most people don't like to write, but I love to write. So pick a pen and a paper and write what happened at the interview. Write the questions they asked you. Write the actions of the visa officer. How did she look at you when she asked a certain question? Maybe she asked you, who is funded? Asked you, who is funded? It's two things. When she asked you who is funded, it means she's surprised and she's wondering how you'd be able to pay this huge amount. But when she asked who is funded, it's probably like she's just curious or wants to know. So write the actions of all these things, put it down, and then ask your. Another thing is probably when you went for interview, most people don't even get asked more than 2 questions. Write that one to them. When you got there, she didn't say anything. She just said, why this school, and then refused you. Write that one down. Now what you want to do is to look at the common reasons which people were refused and compare to why you were refused. So let me give you a very clear one. You go for an interview and they ask you 2 questions. Number 1, why this school and who is funding? And they just give you a refusal. It's 2 things. He or she didn't believe that you can pay for that amount that you are supposed to pay. And secondly, they weren't satisfied with the amount. They don't believe that you can pay that amount. And truth be told, most of the times it's our fault, because I'm always campaigning and telling people that I beg you in the name of God, I wish I could kneel down. Never come here when you have a school fees of $30,000 and above, when you have no plan of paying that money, when you don't have a plan of getting that money. Don't ever try it. Don't think that you would be able to work and pay it. I'm telling you that I've been here for more than a year, and I also had that mindset that when I come here, I'll be working for 16 hours. It's not possible. Even doctors cannot make that money. You can't make $30,000 as someone coming from Africa to the US. It will take you to get here to understand me though, but I'm telling you, take it for me. Never, ever go to that visa interview room and tell them that your dad is sponsoring that $30,000. And I'll give you the reason. Now, these people know that Ghana is a third-class country. They know that Nigeria is a third-class country. When we are here and we are in class, they refer to my country, Ghana, as a third-class country or the third-class world or whatever. So they know the minimum wage of every Ghanaian. Not every Ghanaian as in general. They know, like, they have an idea of how much the average Ghanaian makes. Let's say you come to America. The average American makes $45,000 a year. The average cleaner, because they probably make about $3,000 or $2,000 a month. The average cleaner here, and then a year they make about $20,000 to $30,000. So the average income is like $45,000 in America. Nothing. It can be more, it can be less, depending on your field. Now they know that this is a first class country, and even a first class country, the average income here is $45,000. How much more you in a third world country where the minimum wage, rather than I saw an article where they said the minimum wage in Ghana a day cannot buy a Happy Meal, a McDonald's Happy Meal. If you know McDonald's, it's one of the cheapest meals in America. You can get it as low as $2, $5. But then they said in Ghana, you cannot buy a McDonald's Happy Meal with a daily minimum wage. And these people know all these statistics. They are learned people. They know these things. Even if they are not learned, they watch the news, they see everything happen. They know that Ghana, it's not easy to even have $10,000 lying there, let alone tell a visa officer that you are giving that money. You are willing. You are a plumber in Ghana. You are a doctor in Ghana. When you know doctors don't even make $10,000 in 2 months or in 3 months, you get it. So they don't believe you in the first place. And I know you probably have a different mindset, but take it from me. I have been here. I've had issues with people over here, the Americans. I've had so many issues with them, and I've understood how these people reason. They are one of the smartest people in the world. You can't just go there and give them some 1, 2, 3 reason or excuse and then expect them to believe it. They do not believe you. And even if they believe you, you come here, you'll be stranded. People over here won't tell you the truth though. I'm telling you the truth that I was nearly sacked from my school because I didn't have a way to pay my school fees. Didn't I come to America with a plan to pay my fees? I did. What happened when that plan failed? They asked me to leave. They asked me to pack my things and leave the school if I don't have the money. And that is what will happen to you. Most international students call me, Sam, what are we doing with my fees? They come in and they're like, Sam, so what are we doing about the fees? And I'm like, they wouldn't tell you because it's not nice to tell people who are in Ghana the problems that you are going through. So even when they approve your visa, you would regret coming here and having to produce such a huge amount of money in a span of 2 weeks or in a week, and then you'll be getting emails. Why would you put yourself through that stress? Why would you pay so much money from Ghana, visa fees, service fees, all these things, get here and then you are depressed, you regret coming to even coming to the US? Why would you do that to yourself? That is why I'm always leading you guys to having a plan to pay your fees, and the plan is always scholarships. Scholarships are the most guaranteed way to come to the US because the government knows that the school is the one paying. I'm going to make a video to tell you guys how to actually win scholarships when you have a bad grades, because I did it. So my grades weren't the best. I think I've already done it. I've already made a video. If I've already made that video, I'm going to link it in this video or something. Now, after I got carried away. So after you have realized what happened or what transpired between you and the visa officer, look through your application. If your fees was more than $30,000, chances are that was the reason, because they know not up to 2,000 Ghanaians have extra $30,000. Do you know $30,000? $30,000 is like how much in Ghana cedis? 300. I've forgotten the Ghana exchange. I think $10,000 is now 100,000 Ghana cedis. So $30,000 would be 300,000 or 400,000, almost 400,000 Ghana cedis. And ask yourself, which job in Ghana pays that much? Which job, apart from politicians who have their ways of getting, which job in Ghana has that much in their bank account? And when you say $30,000, it's something you are willing to give to the school annually. They know that you have dependents. That is why they ask you if you have siblings, because they know that you are not the only person your parents are going to take care of, or you are not the only burden your sponsor has. Okay, so look through your I-20. When you realize that your deficit was that huge, it's probably that could probably be the reason why you was refused. And also, if you went there and they didn't really waste their time asking you questions, like they just asked you 1 question or 2 questions, just know that was the reason. Like the DS form wasn't filled properly, because my first interview they asked me just 2 questions. When I went back, filled it correctly and came back, they asked me over 8 to 10 questions. She was just asking me questions, smooth everything. You get it? So yeah, that is it. Basically, when you're able to identify these things, write the reasons why, what transpired between you and the visa officer, go to your application, realize that your scholarship was probably small and your deficit was very huge, change something about the application, and then when you are changing it on your DS form, when you are filling the new DS form, and you get to the point that says if you've been refused a US visa before, don't just mention the reason, just write under law 214B, which is the most common. So if you were refused under a different law, just write that law there. But if you was under law 214B, just write it there. Do not write anything, because when you write something, bunch things, they will punch holes in it. When you go for an interview and they see it and they had a different reason written down, they would be asking you about those things. So just write the law under which it was confused. Now, I'm a law student here. I read law here, and one thing I've learned about law is when you're in trouble, speak less. when you are found guilty of something or you get arrested by the police, speak less, don't talk much, just be quiet and give 111 answers. That way you don't get much into trouble. So when you are refused and you are filling your DS form, do not write, I was refused because my confidence was blah 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 blah. I was refused because blah blah. Just state the law under which he was refused. That way you've thrown it back to them. Now when it comes to confidence or getting confidence during visa interview, I made a video yesterday about how not to feel nervous. You will not see these people for the rest of your life. Assume that they are just strangers you've never seen. You don't know them from anywhere. Treat them that way. You know you never see them. Whether you get back, whether you fumble, just know that they'll never ever see you anywhere in your life. Put it in your mind, when you go there, they are just strangers that you need them for the next 30 minutes of your life. So just relax, flow. They are just human beings like you. The worst they can do to you is to refuse you. When they refuse you, you would always check your mistake, correct your mistakes, and then come back. People always text me, they get refused first time, and then I help them with some little advice that I know. Not that I'm an expert. The little that I know, or from what I have seen from other people, help them with it, and then they go and get a win. In the beginning, it's very painful. They feel terrible. They feel so sad. They feel like their life is crashing and all that. But when they correct their mistakes, they go and do it. Okay. Now I'm going to leave you with this clear analogy. When you are starting a car and you spark it, okay, you ignite the car and you step on the brakes, will the car move? No, you are stepping on the brakes very hard. You are hitting on the brakes, right? The car is working. Everything is working well in the car. You are hitting on the brakes so hard. You are hitting on it. Will the car move? No. But when you hit on the accelerator slightly, what would happen? The car will start moving. So when you do the wrong thing, don't expect some miracle to happen for them to approve you. Just do the right thing. Get the most logic balance you could ever get, and then apply again. Thank you guys so much for watching. And you know, I always end my videos with something inspiring, or I promote my books. Okay, so just get my books from Perez bookshop, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.